Joy Lab.
Hi, I'm Tonya. Did you know there's a difference? It's oatmeal, but these two oatmeals are extremely different and have different needs and different uses. Old-fashioned rolled oats, that's where you take the dried oat and roll it flat. This is the oatmeal that I expected to have bought. Instead, I bought Steel Cut Oats, which is the hard little oat kernel chopped up. And it looks like this. My husband uses oatmeal in his cereal, but not like what you would expect. He puts his milk and then his raisin bran and then sprinkles, just like that, sprinkles oatmeal in his bowl of cold cereal. Lets it soak a little bit and gets that extra fiber and extra nutrition and sometimes extra mess. I bought Steel Cut Oats by mistake, but I don't like wasting food. What am I going to do with it? I did some research and came up with 3 recipes, and I'm showing those to you over 3 different videos. One recipe is a breakfast dish, one is a cookie, and one is a side dish. And the side dish recipe is what I'm going to show you today. This is a big canister of Steel Cut Oats that I don't want to go to waste. So we're going to use our freezer meal method to use up these Steel Cut Oats. This recipe for using up your Steel Cut Oats is mushroom and sun-dried tomato Steel Cut Oat Risotto. Risotto is an Italian dish. Usually it's with rice or maybe those little rice-shaped pasta, the orzo pasta. It's usually kind of a saucy pasta or rice with vegetables and sometimes some cheese. So that's what we're doing. Instead of using the rice or the orzo pasta, we're using the Steel Cut Oats. The plan of attack is to saute the bell pepper, mushrooms, and onion with some garlic. Once those are soft, we'll add the sun-dried tomatoes and some seasoning. We have basil, thyme, basil, rosemary, and some oregano from my garden. Simmer it with the Steel Cut Oats. You see, the Steel Cut Oats are hard and nut-like. We have to soften them. So it will be a lot of simmering with chicken broth. You can use vegetable broth if you prefer. And then at the end, once the Steel Cut Oats are nice and soft and tender with all the vegetables and seasoning, we'll put in some Parmesan cheese. And it will be delicious. For our mushroom and sun-dried tomato Steel Cut Oat Risotto, I've already sauteed the onion because that takes a little bit longer. Sauteed the onion, and now we'll add the rest of the ingredients and cook them all down a bit. Got a green bell pepper, eight ounces of mushrooms, 4 diced cloves of garlic. I use jarred diced garlic. And you might be saying, Tonya, it doesn't take that much time and effort to dice your own garlic, especially when I'm taking all the time and effort to dice the bell pepper and the onion and the mushrooms. To me, it's not worth it. The taste isn't that. I don't notice a difference. So, there. On our seasoning, we have basil leaves, teaspoon of basil, and a teaspoon of dried oregano. I made the mistake of planting oregano in my garden one year and it took over. I had so much oregano dried and always now available for my use. 1 teaspoon dried oregano. Oh, brand new. For the rosemary leaves, you have to crumble them up like the oregano, but they're not as easy to crumble because it's like little sticks. I have a rosemary bush in the yard. And I've never tried drying it for my own use, but I do use it fresh. It's wonderful seasoning meats. Okay, now I'm going to saute this and simmer it down. It's going to take a while. I'll be back. Our vegetables and seasoning are all sauteed down together for our mushroom and sun-dried tomato steel cut oats risotto. Now we're adding the steel cut oats, a whole cup, which is good. Good to use this up. Now the recipe says to heat them until they're toasted. This is so aromatic already with the onions and the bell pepper and the mushroom. I'm not sure that I'll be able to smell when they're toasted. And it's so juicy that I'm not sure that I can see when they're toasted. The steel cut oats, the recipe says also approximately 3 minutes. So I'm going to heat this on high for 3 minutes to try to toast the steel cut oats. I'll be right back. Nope, 3 minutes is too long. I put it on high and I stirred it the whole time, and 1 minute it was clear that the steel cut oats weren't going to get any more toasty without burning. They don't appear to be toasty, but the mixture just feels ready for the next step. 1 minute on high is all it took. Now, the steel cut oats, they're like little ground up nuts. They need to soften. The rest of the time with our recipe, we are going to be letting the broth be absorbed by the steel cut oats so that they're tasty and edible and don't break our teeth. We'll do this 1 cup of broth at a time, and we do need to add our sun-dried tomatoes. I will heat this on the stove until the liquid is absorbed, then add another cup of liquid, do the same thing, and after that I'll start testing. I'll taste a little bit to see if the sun-dried oats, I'll test and see by tasting if the steel cut oats are soft enough. The recipe calls for 4 to 5 cups of broth, so this is going to take a while. I'll be back. This recipe is taking a super long time because 1 cup at a time of the chicken broth, and you put that on medium heat and let the steel cut oats absorb that liquid. You can see where we are after 3 cups. I need to test to see if the steel cut oats are soft enough to stop. But since the recipe calls for 4 to 5 cups, I'm doubtful. I let this cool first, so please be careful. Oh, the flavor. Oh my gosh, the flavor of all those vegetables and spices is so good. But a little bit too chewy still. Back to the stovetop. See you in a bit. An hour and a half later, I think we may be ready. I brought this out a little early to let it cool. I think that's it. Steel cut oats are nut-like, and they do make this a chewy sensation, but they aren't crunchy on my teeth anymore. Good. That took 4 cups of chicken broth and a long time. Let's add the Parmesan. There is no way I would ever make this on a school night. No way. I don't even think I would make this if we were having company, because I would be sitting stirring at the stove instead of getting the house ready for company. That's the magic of freezer meals. Do the work now, and then you save time later because you don't have to do this again. If I really was thinking ahead, I would have doubled this recipe and put even more in my freezer. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to put this mushroom and sun-dried tomato Steel Cut Oats risotto into freezer containers. And I'm going to just pop it in the freezer. And then I will have them when company is coming, or on a school night. I can just pull it out from the freezer the night before, let that thaw overnight in the fridge, and then warm it up in the oven. And it will be delicious, just as if we were eating it right now. Which, forget it, I'm going out for pizza. This took way too long. I am tired. All right, so let me show you how to box this up for freezer meals. Spray the pan. There, you can see those both. I like to make sure it's going to be an even amount in each pan. So 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, 1 for you, and on and on. Boy, I wish you were here right now and you could smell how savory and just delicious this smells. But I'm too annoyed. I'm not going to eat it now. It took way too long. I think I started with, did I start right? Extra wide heavy duty foil. Right, now I'm going to label mushroom and sun-dried tomato, Steel Cut Oats risotto. Long name. Thaw overnight in the fridge. And then you just need to heat it up. So you're going to uncover it and bake 350. I'm saying probably 15 minutes just to heat it through. See, I should have doubled the recipe so I would have 4 of these in the freezer. You may be saying, Tonya, why do I need 4 mushroom and sun-dried tomato steel cut oat risottos? Well, they last a long time in your freezer. And what if a neighbor has a baby? Or someone comes home from the hospital and you want to be a blessing? Just pull one of these out of the freezer and bring it to them for their dinner. This is one of 3 videos to to use extra steel cut oats. We have a cookie recipe, we have a breakfast recipe, and our side dish recipe. If you like the video, please subscribe. Watch the other 2 videos, please like. It helps YouTube put my videos in front of other people who want to learn how to make their lives easier with freezer meals. I'm Tonya. Thanks for watching.
Joy Lab. Learning done right.
Learn more with Joy Lab. Like, subscribe, comment, share. Visit us at www.joylab.biz. Thank you.